Welcome to the Mom Entrepreneur Success Podcast with Mariana C. Ruiz, the podcast for the go-getter mom entrepreneur who refuses to let motherhood slow her down from achieving success and making an impact. Tune in Mondays to learn the success secrets of top influencers who also happen to be moms so that you can reach the success, freedom, and impact you desire.
Ready to create success on your terms, mom entrepreneur? Head on over to marianacruiz.com/success to download your copy of the game plan. It's a step-by-step process to get you results and enjoy every step of the journey. Because as mom entrepreneurs, it's about designing a business around our lives and not the other way around. Plus, I also walk you through areas where you might get stuck to help you avoid the pitfalls that so many of us have to go through. So head on over to marianacruiz.com to get your copy now. Welcome to the Mom Entrepreneur Success Podcast. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about how to reach your goals pretty much every time and how to do it as a high achiever and really what this whole high achiever thing is. Because we're getting to the end of the year. Some of you might be, I'm not even a high achiever. And I'm going to show you exactly what that means, what I mean by that, what are the signs and how to slow things down and really start to enjoy your life as a mom entrepreneur. Because I have to argue that most mom entrepreneurs are high achievers. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. If you haven't already, go back and listen to last week's episode where I talked with Robin. She talked really specifically about what to do if you're afraid of selling, if you're afraid of being on video. And she gave some really great tips for getting over that mindset of being on video and being an introvert and how to get over that. So that's another really great topic that I wanted to just recap here because in case you missed that episode, that's a really good one to go back to. Okay, so this is the last episode, another housekeeping thing. This is the last episode for the season. We're going to resume back up in the middle of January, and we're going to be back on with season 2. I have some really amazing guests lined up for you. I can't wait to share all of them with you. And I'm also going to continue to do these solo episodes. If you like what you're hearing, please go ahead and subscribe to this show. And I would love to hear your feedback. What are you liking? What are the episodes that are really resonating with you? And what would you rather see more of or less of? I am open to all feedback and I really appreciate that from you. So you can either shout out to me in the Entrepreneurial Moms group, or you can go right into your podcast player, either Stitcher, iTunes, whatever, and leave me a review. That would be awesome. Okay, so let's get right into this whole thing about goal setting and planning for the new year. All of my clients right now are in this mode, right? And all high achievers can really get in this mode, and that is we want to plan all of 2017. We want everything to be planned out. We want every launch, every piece of content planned out. If you've done my content challenge, you've already planned out 3 to 6 months of content. If you haven't already, go ahead to marianacruiz.com/content where I share with you how you can plan out your content ahead of time. And it doesn't have to be that much. But it's a really great system to use to repurpose content, to be really smart, and to save loads of time. So back to the goal setting. So many people right now are in goal planning and vision planning mode. If you remember going back to the success game plan in episode 2, season 1, episode 2, I talked about the success game plan. And this is the game plan that I've used to really achieve a ton of stuff in my life. And I'm going to recap it here really fast because I think it's important for you to see the entirety of the plan. And that way we can get started with how you can start to set your goals for this year from a place of love and from a place of enjoying your life rather than beating yourself up about things. So with a success game plan, it all starts with your vision. So your vision is your long-term, like, what is it that you want? What is in essence the essence of what you want? What do you want it to feel like? What do you want it to look like around you? Kind of, it's a more long-term thing. Then we go into consistency, which I believe consistency consists of what I call the love sandwich. And in order to have consistency, you need mindset, strategy, action, and support. And all of that together allows you to have consistency and to stay consistent when the going gets tough. And then at the very end of the game plan is reflection, where you're looking back at things and seeing what went right, what went wrong, and how you can tweak your path to better direct you in the way towards your vision. As we're ending the end of 2016, many of you are in reflection or vision mode. You're trying to think up a plan for how you're going to achieve certain things in 2017. You're thinking of what you can do to improve certain situations in 2017. You know, maybe your business isn't making as much money as you would like for it to be making. Maybe you're making money in one area of your business, but you want to shift directions and go in another area. Like maybe you're trying to go more towards passive income. Whatever it is that you want to create in 2017, I want you to remember your overall vision and start to think about, how can I soften this? How can I make this more tangible? And in episode 3, season 1, episode 3, Jennifer Scott talked about the manifesting formula. So that's a really good place to go back to if you're struggling with how you're going to get this all done. Because the real truth is you don't need to know steps 1 through 20 of your strategy. All you really have to focus on is what in essence it is that you want, and then start feeling really good about what you have so far so that you can attract more of those great things to you. Yesterday in the Entrepreneurial Moms group, I actually posted a picture of my journal from September 2015. And at that time, my daughter was still in the hospital and I was stressing out because I was still trying to figure out the direction of my business. At that time, I was still doing health coaching. I was making a good amount of money, but not enough to completely sustain me outside of being in that, outside of being in my FMLA and everything that was going on. And then eventually I had this vision that I would help a lot of moms to make their own businesses, and no longer served me to be in the network marketing company that I was in, because I wanted to reach moms who wanted to build businesses of every type. And so I was sort of at that a little bit before the crossroads, but around that time, right, where my vision was starting to expand, and I had no idea how I would do it. And so one of the things that I did was that I started to keep a gratitude journal of all the things that and I think it was only 3 things a day. So I would keep 3 things that I was grateful for today and 3 things that I would be grateful for in the future when my vision had happened. Okay? By doing that, that specific day, I had written 3 things that all happened already. Now, a year and a few months later. every single one of those things had happened. And it's amazing because none of those were income related. I didn't say I will be making XYZ number of dollars. And a lot of times when we go into goal setting, we put that type of pressure on ourselves. And as high achievers, you might have some really big goals. And a lot of times those goals are very numbers based. So you might say, I want to reach 6 figures this year. I want to hit 7 figures this year, whatever it is that your number is that you're shooting for. And what happens sometimes, and one of the big messages that I want you to start to really take from this podcast is it's not always about the numbers. It's not always only about that side of things. A lot of times it's about what you're able to create when that happens. So what has been possible for me has been for me to help a lot of women. What has been possible for me is my daughter completely recovering, and she's almost walking now. She's trying to walk, but she's not walking on her own completely. So my point is, if you do goal setting from a very number strategic, like that very tense place, and you don't give yourself a little wiggle room, and you don't think about what it is that you truly want, what is the feeling that you truly want, all of the goal setting can actually really harm you and jeopardize your enjoyment of life. And so this time of year can be really difficult for high achievers. You might be in a reflection phase where you're looking at this year and you're thinking, man, I am not where I want to be. And if that's you, I want you to go back and look, just like I did, where were you 1 year ago? And is that an improvement, right? So if maybe 1 year ago, you couldn't even think about possibly starting a business, and now a year later, you have a business idea and you know what you want to do, even though it's not where you want it to be, that's progress. I'm not saying lower your standards or don't dream big. You know I'm all about dreaming big. But what I am saying is acknowledge where you are compared to where you have been, and release the guilt that you're not where you want to be yet. Because through the releasing of that guilt, you will be able to climb so much higher than if you beat yourself up to a pulp and have to start from zero. Your confidence would be shot if you did that. And I know so many of us spend some time there. Hand raised, because I've so done this. And so really right now for this year, if you are going to be doing goal setting, one of the things I do every year, which is super fun, is I pick a word of the year. Last year I had the word focus, and that is so helpful. It was really helpful for me because I knew I had to focus on the areas of my life that were most critical. And that was my daughter rehabbing and getting to a place where she was healthy, which we didn't know whether or not that would even be a possibility. And it has been, because I put a lot of energy, a lot of effort. We did a lot of therapy, right? And now she is better. The other area that I wanted to focus on was my business, because I wanted my business to completely sustain me, and I wanted to have a business that actually made money. And so now I do. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you. The reason I'm on such a rant today about this topic is because I had set a goal for myself that was an arbitrary number. I don't even know where I came up with this figure, but I said I want to make $100,000. All year, this has been my thing. I've been thinking, I want to make $100,000. I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to break 6 figures. Awesome. Well, As it stands today, I am only at 80% of that goal. And I could, the high achiever in me wants to say, you're such a loser. You didn't meet your goal. You're so shy of your goal. And, why do you do this to yourself? Or, all of the things, right? All of the thoughts that we have. And I know so many of you are there because that's this time of year. Like, as a high achiever, you have goals. You're looking at the end of the year, you're like, shit, I didn't get my goal. Okay? I want you to take 2 steps back. Are you at a place that's better than a year ago? Has what you've been working on helped you to gain some freedom if that's what you're looking for? For me, this has allowed me to stay home with my daughter. So whether I made 20,000 more or less really had no impact on that. And so I want you to, as you're setting your goals for 2017, instead of coming up with arbitrary numbers, and this is definitely where I'm going to be going for things as well, I want you to do it based on feeling. What is the feeling that you want? What is the reason for setting this goal in the first place? Why are you really setting the goal? Because if you don't have a real reason, if it's not really going to make that much of a difference in your life, then there's no point in beating yourself up about it. I'm also still not saying don't dream big, because believe me, I think probably if you go back 2 years, I would never even believe that I would be anywhere close to that in 2 years' time. But it all starts with loving yourself, about looking at your overall vision and literally working on it one day at a time. It didn't just happen overnight. It was every day, day in, day out, in, out, in, out, and working on it, chipping away one little bit at a time. So that is my rant. And I know that can be a little rough, but it's something that I know I'm not the only one going through this. I also wanted to be 100% transparent with you guys about my business and where I am and where I stand right now. And I also know that so many of you set the high goal and you don't have a plan for getting there. And that's, the strategy part of consistency inside of the game plan. And so if that's you, if you have the goal, but you don't have a plan to get there, that's what I can help you to do. That's how I was able to make as much as I was this year, right? I didn't just go blindly into my days and hope that, I could make it work. It came through strategy, through action, and through having the support and the personalized feedback on my business and where I was. So if you'd like this type of support, feel free to reach out to me, and we can definitely talk more about what that would look like in your business. As far as the planning for 2017, think about doing the word of the year. Think about doing a good, better, and best income or some other more tangible. If you're going to do anything that's really tangible, like make $20 million. I'm just using these crazy, ridiculous examples because I know so many of you are shooting high. Okay, so if you're going to shoot high, if you're going to shoot for numbers, why don't you soften it a little bit and go for good, better, best? Here's how you would come up with good, better, best. I do this a lot with my coaching clients. Anytime we're going to do a launch or something like that, I have them set 3 goals. Number 1, what would be good? They would consider that it was a good launch and that they actually turned a profit or made back the investment and made maybe a little bit more. Better is, okay, this is a little bit of a stretch, but it's totally doable. It's that I can definitely do this. And best is that oh my gosh, I would be flying off the rooftops if I got this and I reached this goal. So I want you to set 3 goals for yourself for 2017. The good, better, best, if you're going to set some tangible numbers to things. Also, if you're brand new in business, don't pressure yourself to set annual goals necessarily. It's okay to have a vague idea or kind of an idea of what you're going to do for 2017, but you don't have to plan every single minute of 2017 in one sitting. Also, it doesn't really allow for you to change the trajectory as much. So let's say you weren't reaching your 90-day goal and you had to do like a random launch where you hadn't planned to do a launch, but if you had another launch planned right after that, you couldn't have the flexibility to catch up. And so basically what I'm saying is leave some wiggle room for things to move around. And I work really much better with the 90-day goals. I have a overall vision, like I said, and I do sometimes set the really hard, like I want to reach this amount. And you know what? I think for this year, I'm actually not going to do that because I think that hurt me more than it helped me because it caused me a lot of stress that was unnecessary because I was doing fine. And so if you're like setting these arbitrary super high numbers that are just making you more stressed and then not really causing you to take the right action or to be in flow, then that's something to consider. So those are kind of the things I wanted to talk about in terms of goal setting and planning for the new year. And now let me recap a few of the episodes that might also help you with. In episode number 4 with Laura Brandenburg, we talked about how to structure the whole passive income thing. So a lot of times the mistake I see new entrepreneurs making is that they'll start off with, I'm going to write an ebook, and they have these huge income goals. Like, let's say it's like $2,000 a month. For an ebook that you're selling at $19.99, $2,000 a month is a really big goal if that's your only revenue stream. So this is, again, like what I'm talking about with the overachieving. So sometimes you might not see that you're overachieving or see that you're setting big goals because on the surface, $2,000 a month doesn't seem like a lot. But when you take into account it's a $19 ebook, how many of those would you have to sell? Well, that's a lot if considering that you need, that a sales page converts at 10% and that traffic, you would need actually about 90% more people to go to that sales page than the 10% that actually bought. So again, this is all based on you figuring out a goal that is tangible for you and that is right for you for where you are in your business. If you have a big following and you can drive tons of traffic to it or are willing to spend the money on Facebook ads, then you could easily make $2,000 from a $19 ebook. But if that's not you, then that's probably what's happening, is that you're setting really high goals for yourself, but you don't have, the strategy or the actions because you don't have the support or the mindset to help you get there, right? And so that's all from the success game plan and from, if you need to go back to that, that's season 1, episode 4 with Laura Brandenburg. And we talked about how to generate passive income. And she talks realistically about how long it took for her to get a 6-figure passive income business. It took a long time. I think it was 6 years for her. So remembering that these things take time. It's not something you're going to do in 3 months, probably not even a year. And I'm not saying that to be a Debbie Downer, but be realistic as you're setting your goals and get support around them to say like, hey, is this realistic? Is this shooting too high? Am I like shooting myself in the foot? Or what do I have to even do to make this a possibility? I think that's really where a lot of people get stuck, is they're not even sure what to do to make their goals a reality and something that we can work on together. So there you have it. That is pretty much my rant on goal setting and being a high achiever at this end of the year, New Year's planning phase. And if you have any questions, I do have a couple of openings in my 6-month program and would love to chat with you and see if we might be a good fit for working together. And if you are interested, go to marianacruiz.com and then click on the Work With Me tab and you can schedule a call. We can chat. Of course, chatting does not mean that you have to buy. It's more just about having a conversation and seeing if I might be able to help you. And I look forward to chatting with you and seeing what you will create in 2017. And until January, have a great holiday season and enjoy this time with your family. Really take the time to hug your little ones and kiss them and watch the beautiful smiles on their faces and really be present in the moment. And so I can't wait to chat with you soon. Have an awesome day. Bye. You've been listening to the Mom Entrepreneur Success Podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Head on over to iTunes and leave us a rating and review. By reviewing the show, it allows us to reach more moms to help them grow their businesses. So head on over there, leave us an honest rating, and I can't wait to catch up with you there. By the way, every single week, I'm going to select one winner who leaves a review, and you'll be able to get a free strategy session with me. In this 20-minute laser-focused session, you'll get the information that you need to move your business to the next level of success that you desire. Have an awesome day.